This creamy chicken pasta has over 47 grams of protein per serving and will be one of the easiest, low-effort meal preps you will ever make. It's a true dump and bake style recipe where I took all the shortcuts to make things as easy as possible. Everything gets tossed into a casserole dish and baked, and after only 15 minutes of prep work and some unattended time in the oven, you'll have your lunches ready for the week. Each serving of this meal will have about 557 calories with 47 grams of protein. I know a lot of you guys are just like me where you don't want to spend any extra time in the kitchen. It's hard to beat a recipe like this one with how little effort it is to make. Here's how you do it. Our first shortcut is going to be using frozen vegetables. That way we don't have to wash or chop anything. It's already done for us. For this recipe, we're going to use cauliflower and butternut squash, about a half pound or 227 grams each. If your store doesn't have frozen butternut squash, you can just use a full pound of frozen cauliflower or substitute with frozen carrots. Place these frozen vegetables into the microwave for a few minutes to warm them up. While that's happening, let's prepare our chicken. We'll need 1.5 pounds or 681 grams of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Into a 16 by 9 inch casserole dish, I chopped up all my chicken into bite-sized pieces. In order to save myself the hassle of having to clean a raw chicken soaked cutting board, I decided to just chop these chicken thighs up into the casserole dish using a pair of kitchen shears. Aim for small bite-sized pieces, and as you're going through them, you can trim away any excess amounts of fat. I did test this recipe one time using chicken breasts, and you can use them, but it was a bit drier. Once all chopped up, you can spread it out in the bottom of your dish and sprinkle over salt to taste. If you want to add any other seasonings at this step, be my guest. I'm not your father, you can do whatever you want. Next, we can start building our sauce. Place a blender container over a scale and add in 1 cup or 227 grams of cottage cheese, 1.5 cups or 360 grams of 2% milk, and 1.5 cups or 360 grams of water. Next comes 2 teaspoons or 10 grams of chicken bouillon, 1 teaspoon or 6 grams of salt, and then 1 teaspoon or 3 grams each of onion powder, garlic powder, and black pepper. Then about 1 tablespoon or 1 gram of dried Italian seasoning, 2 teaspoons or 10 grams of lemon juice, 1.5 tablespoons or 22.5 grams of oil, and all of your thawed and warmed vegetables. Would it really be a TMPM recipe if I didn't hide these vegetables in the sauce? Place the blender on the motor and spin that sucker until not even a speck of those earthly monstrosities is recognizable. The greatest part about doing it this way is you don't have to chew them and you'll hardly even taste them. While that's back there spinning, I'm going to weigh out 10 ounces or 280 grams of spaghetti noodles. Get these ready and then we can dump everything into our casserole dish. All of your chicken should be at the base of your casserole dish, your sauce is blended up, and noodles in hand. We're going to do this in layers, so pour a layer of sauce over the bottom of your dish so that it covers the chicken, and then lay some of the spaghetti down on top. The chicken will act as stilts to hold that spaghetti up off of the bottom of the pan. This is important because if the dry spaghetti sits against the base of the dish and it doesn't allow for liquid to completely encapsulate it, it's not going to cook all the way through after it bakes. You'll end up with some dry pockets and uncooked pasta, and obviously we don't want that. Continue the layering process until all the spaghetti and sauce is used up, and try to ensure that each piece of spaghetti is coated in sauce. Next, you can cover your dish tightly with aluminum foil, and this is going to go in a 375°F or 190°C oven for 45 minutes. And 45 minutes later, with the power of Hollywood magic, look at this, it's already done. You're going to pull off that foil and give it a stir. Upon first glance, you're probably going to say, whoa, my sauce looks a bit thin. But as this cools, it's going to thicken up greatly. You just have to trust the process. That spaghetti is going to release a lot of starch during the cooking process, and you need to stir everything around so that all the starch can do its work to thicken up the sauce. Be a bit gentle when stirring to not break the noodles. If any clumps of noodles are sticking together, try to get in there and separate them into individual strands. Once well stirred, allow it to sit on the counter to cool and thicken up. I went to watch the Thunder game for a bit and came back 15 to 20 minutes later, and here is the result. You can see the sauce has thickened wonderfully since coming out of the oven and is now ready to be plated. This recipe will make 5 servings, so lay out 5 of your meal prep containers and divide the contents of your casserole dish evenly between the 5. The process of prepping everything to go in the dish should only take you about 15 minutes. After that, it's pretty hands off. You toss it in the oven and you can go do whatever else you please while it cooks. I really wanted to make this one as easy as it could possibly be while still being high in protein and including some kind of vegetable. Even boiling the noodles before baking them was a step that I didn't want to have to take in order to save me 10 to 15 minutes. For the next step, I weighed out 1/2 cup or 56 grams of shaved Parmesan cheese, and I spread that out over the top of each dish. And then lastly, I topped each dish with a bit of fresh chopped parsley, just to add a touch of green since everything in the dish is fairly monochromatic and brown. Each serving of this easy dump and bake creamy chicken pasta has about 557 calories and 47 grams of protein. It will last for up to 5 days in the refrigerator. Throw the lids on top and move these into the fridge for the week. And just kidding, I'm coming back. I always get a couple of comments of people asking me why I don't use glass containers, and I actually do. For taking pictures and filming purposes, it's a little bit easier to see things against the black background, which is why I use those on camera. Once the camera shuts off, I just switch them all over to the glass containers. So for all of you wondering, there's your answer. I get these glass containers at IKEA. To reheat the meals, I'll toss them in the microwave for a few minutes on 50 to 60% power until they are hot. If over the course of the week you find your sauce has thickened more than you would like, you can always add a splash of milk before you reheat. It's hard to beat a meal prep recipe that is as easy to prepare as this one and tastes as good. Total win in my book. You guys gave me great feedback on the last one-pot sausage and pepper pasta recipe, saying that you want more easy recipes like that one, so I thought, what can we do to one-up it and make it even easier? And that is where this creamy chicken pasta bake was born. You can find the full written version of the recipe linked down below in the description. That is on my website, mealprepmanual.com. All the ingredients and instructions needed to make this recipe are listed in an easy-to-read format there. So the next time you're looking for an easy or lazy meal prep recipe for your work week, give this one a shot. For more meal prep recipes, check out my website or the two listed on screen here. Now like the video and subscribe to the channel, or else!